Welcome to HumanityWins.net. Please read the important disclaimer on your screen. All of the content provided is for entertainment purposes only. It should not be taken as medical or legal advice. Please contact your doctor or lawyer if you require such advice. Thank you. The show starts right now. Hello, welcome to this new show of HumanityWins.net. This is episode 263 from October the 27th of the year 2023. Today is a Friday. And today's episode is going to be about the debt trap. I'm going to get personal on this one as I'm part of a debt trap right now, of a debt cycle. I'm gonna kind of share my story on what happened. This took years, and in one way or another, I'm hoping this comes to an end soon because I feel for everyone involved in a debt situation, in a debt the debt trap, in a situation that debt becomes something that you're unable to manage anymore for whatever reason. I know usually because I experienced it myself. There is very little understanding from the ones that they don't know the details of your debt situation. That usually, if you're in debt, it's your fault, and you made poor financial decisions, and that's the reason. And I disagree. Yes, of course, I want to clarify. Of course, it's my responsibility. Of course, it's my fault. I'm in this current situation. Of course, no one put a gun to my head, and I could have taken probably different decisions that I don't think they have totally cleared me off debt, but they could have changed the trajectory of my life, and especially because I have dependents. I have two boys, two young men, and two sons, and a wife. So in a way, it's kind of I totally understand. Believe me, I do. You do have my understanding for the ones that are experiencing a debt situation and unmanageable debt situation. As the video we're gonna watch, it's something that I feel for you, because it's you get very little understanding from the ones you share, so it gets to a point that you don't want to share it with anyone. You try to keep it kind of a secret, and because again, what you're gonna get is that look, that kind of smile of saying, yeah, but at the end, this is your fault. So the last thing you want when you're venting with someone, when you're sharing this with someone, believe me, the last thing you want is judgment. The last thing you want is to hear the obvious, that you're the responsible, that you are at fault. Yes, I think most people that are in a debt situation, like the lady there we're gonna watch, very unfortunate situation, different to mine, by the way. She got into an unmanageable debt trap, and she actually has it way worse than I have it. So it's kind of hard. I just want to clarify if there's any, confusion. As I shared last week, I'm going to reduce the episodes to a week, and they're going to be Mondays and Fridays. I like this new arrangement. So it's beginning of the week day, end of the week day, and we're going to use the weekend as, as the spacing between the two episodes. It's more symmetric this way. I don't know. There's no real good way to separate 2 episodes per week. It was kind of nice with 3 episodes doing Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That was very, very nice to have on and off, one day and one day off a show. But because of the situation I'm in, I urgently need to have some new businesses going live here. And I'm really trying to invest, unfortunately, as little time as possible on the channel in that sense, so I can leave as much time as possible for work and for my own personal situation. I hope you understand. So without further ado, so we don't go long on this one necessarily, and I leave some time for final thoughts and to let you know my own situation in a nutshell. Let's watch this video. The quality is not very good. That's the way I could find it. As always, I include the link to the full video in the show notes. The quality is not perfect, but more importantly than watching, let's hear the story of this lady and the unfortunate debt trap she is. This is years ago, so I hope it has resolved itself, because that's my wish. I send to everyone having a problem with debt, that it resolves some way or another. I mean, if your life has to change, but to be in debt and not being able to fulfill your obligations, trust me, something very horrible. And my suggestion is, if you know someone like this, first of all, if you can help them in any way, its help is greatly appreciated. And I'm not saying that necessarily offer money, okay? I'm saying help in any way, emotional support, something like that. Just listening listening these people out. Believe me, it's greatly appreciated. And second of all, try not to judge. Try not to judge. If you have your debt situation, if you don't have any debt, or if you actually have savings or something like that, or if you have some little debt, but your situation is totally under control, try to be understandable to the ones that don't have it, because believe me, there's always a story. And yes, we're at fault, we're responsible, but there are some reasons that you are faced with that. So let's watch this 5-minute video together, and I'm going to give you my final thoughts.
I've always loved working. And so I got up ready and got my cup of coffee, and I was walking back to the living room to sit in my chair. And before I even sat in my chair, I got a very horrible, horrible headache. It's something that's undescribable. My name is Norma Patino Reyes, and I'm from Lansing, Michigan. And I'm facing a possible foreclosure on my home for the reason that I became ill and had a stroke in September of '07, and could not continue to support myself. You hear it hitting the windows right here, see?
Norma Reyes' stroke has been devastating for her. It's forced her to retire early from her job, and it's put a strain on her family. The 62-year-old single mother now relies on a modest pension and Social Security checks for income, and she can no longer meet the demands of her mortgage.
Now sit down and eat your sandwich. I came from a very large family. I came from a family of 10. So as far as money was concerned, I didn't have to get that much older to realize that there wasn't enough.
Like most parents, Norma Reyes wanted her 2 kids to have it better than she did. And like millions of Americans, she has spent much of her life living paycheck to paycheck.
I fell behind on my bills because I tried to focus on my children's appearance and the things that I needed in the house to give them a comfortable life.
I can't say anybody on the block was any better or worse off than ourselves, but just making sure that we fit in.
Norma Reyes' dire financial position is really the result of her making long-term commitments to companies who were willing to lend her far more than she could ever afford to repay. For her, it was short-term survival. For these companies, it was short-term profits because so many fees are associated with these loans. In any case, all she needed was one misfortune to put her at the brink.
The thing that probably affected my mother most is the stroke that she had not long ago. She's always been able to work through her issues and either, work 2 jobs or 1 job and may cut some corners. And in this case, there's nothing she can do.
Come on out here and hug me.
The stroke may have put Norma at the brink, but her trouble started in 1987, 2 years after buying her home. The GM plant she was working at closed down, and Norma found herself without a full-time job for 18 months.
I was using my credit cards to pay my house or my other bills in the house.
She eventually found employment at a dental office where she worked for 19 years. Nevertheless, her credit card debt remained unmanageable, forcing her to file for bankruptcy.
The struggles that she has is understanding the long-term effects of some of her financial decisions. I think what she's focused in on is, how do I make it, let's say, for the next 2 weeks or the next month, but not looking at what do I do in 5 years or 10 years.
Norma Reyes was doing little more than renting her home from the bank. In the 23 years that she has owned it, she has hardly made a dent in what she owed. In fact, she now owes 3 times the initial mortgage on the home. A series of 3 refinances in 3 years meant that she was paying high fees, high interest rates, buying unnecessary insurance, and getting bad terms, all in the interest of trying to reduce her monthly payment.
The high fees and interest rates also meant higher profits for her lenders. When Norma refinanced again in 2002, she succeeded in lowering her monthly payments by agreeing to pay only the loan's interest and financial charges each month. As for the loan's $80,000 principal, it would be due in full at the end of the 10-year mortgage.
To pay that amount of principal at some point in the future, if it's difficult to make your monthly payment, it's going to be difficult to make that lump sum principal payment.
Norma filed for bankruptcy a second time in 2004.
Things were increasingly getting difficult for her. The house was overextended and there was significant credit card debt, and I think somewhere in the neighborhood of like $50,000 worth of credit card debt.
Norma has now missed her last 5 mortgage payments. She's been trying to sell the house, but no one is buying.
I don't receive enough money from Social Security and my pension that I can afford to make the payment for my house. So I think what's going to happen is eventually I'm going to have to lose it. It's going to have to go to foreclosure.
Some of the things that we've looked at is putting in an apartment and giving her a lifestyle that's comfortable for the rest of her life and hoping that she can enjoy where she's at and have a place that she can call her own.
Years ago, Norma hoped her children would one day have it better than she did. Today, her son is a successful accountant, and he is supporting her financially.
Does my hair look okay? The easy way or the hard way, I'm going to make it through because I have too many things to live for. I have my grandchildren, my family, and everybody around me that I have to take care of myself. For love of myself and my family, I will go on. This also shall pass.
Yes, I feel for this lady, and and this is such a difficult subject because let me clarify. It could be very acceptable to say, well, she could have not spent all that money or not spend any money at all, which is something I face when I share this with other people, because you have to vent. Okay, it's very impossible to keep this inside. I share as little information I can with my wife, no information with my children because my children especially, they are not. I mean, there's nothing. Possibly, I'm just gonna worry them for no reason. This is my responsibility. This is my fault, my responsibility. There's nothing that has to do with them. As far as my wife, I've been the provider in this marriage, in this family. So again, why should I just worry her for no reason? I shared a few things, and that things might get tough, and I obviously have to share that we had to sell the house. Okay, so the house is in the market, has been in the market for a few months now. No solid offers yet, but houses take time, and the important thing was taking the step of deciding to sell it. So I feel for this lady, and I'm gonna very quickly, because I don't want to go long on this, share my situation. I shared a few times during episodes that yes, I was part of a defraudment. I'm trying to stay away from the word victim here because whatever happened, happened. It is what it is, and that situation make my liquidity went to zero, and I knew it was a risk to give all my liquidity to a new investment that turned out awful. I basically lost it all, and it turned me into a situation that when you don't have liquidity and my business started not growing anymore, started even contracting a little bit, then you turn to debt. It's something that at the beginning it's very. Please try to be understanding because you go into debt, and suddenly when you realize that you are in a debt trap, okay, so it's a trap in a way that you go to debt, and usually the quickest, easiest way is credit cards. My situation changed that after that defraudment, I lost my liquidity. So what happened is I started not being able to have the sufficient money to pay off the credit cards each month, which is my suggestion. Credit cards are not bad, okay? But I do believe that leaving a balance on your credit card each month is going to eventually get you in a debt situation, in a debt trap. So my suggestion will be don't do it ever. If you're starting to do that, stop and try to get out of the situation as quick as possible. So I've done it all, similar to this lady probably. I haven't done the bankruptcy, and it's not the point. My situation is far different from her. One is my mortgage to my house is nowhere close to her situation. I don't know the percentage, but it was clear, that in a way that percentage of the mortgage was different. In my case, it's 15% of the value, estimated value in my house. And of course, if I sell it, I can get 85% of the sale. And the rest of my debts is around 35% the value of the house, a little bit less probably. So I will be left with approximately half the money, okay? So yes, you lose your house, you need to start renting. And in my case, the plan with my wife is get a piece of land, buy it totally, like cash, no mortgage, no nothing, no loan, nothing. Whatever piece of land we can afford, and then slowly build another house, probably smaller than the one we had, which is not a problem, honestly, not a problem. And it just this is the only house my children remember. We have been there for 13 years. I was very lucky to build the house of my dreams. You would have to be there to understand me. That it was really the house I would like to die in. And I was very lucky. I never expected I was gonna be put in the situation to have to sell it, to be forced to sell it, but it's the right play. when you're in a debt trap. And as I was going to get personal on this one, is inevitable because that's the reason I'm doing this show. In a way, it's also a vent to share with all of you, with the viewers of the show, my situation. And when you have an asset, you have to. There's a moment that debt can be malign, I think. Is all debt bad? No, not necessarily. Certainly, if you are an up-and-coming and you have a solid job or a solid business, and then you have to get a mortgage, or the only one I really wouldn't suggest is not paying off your credit cards each month. That's the one I don't agree with. If you're doing that, you're setting yourself in months or years to be in the same situation I am, which is unsustainable, and the same situation the lady was in, which I hope, this video is probably old. I don't recall the date, but it's probably years old, 8-10 years old. So I hope the situation has resolved. She unfortunately lost her house and had to sell it, which seemed like the better play from the video, which she's back with her children. Whatever situation, I hope it's resolved. But believe me, whatever you can think of is much better than being in a situation month after month. I really feel for this lady, because what the son was explaining, that she was only trying to get 15 days, 30 days. Yes, when you're in a debt trap, that's what you're trying to do. You just push another month and push another month and push another month. Some way, somehow, it's really like the image on your screen. You're pushing a rock that is far more than what you can handle. And I feel for all of you. I feel from the bottom of my heart for all of you that have gone through this situation. My wife says something very interesting. Not necessarily agree. Again, suffering, I don't think is in the cards. But she says that maybe her and I, especially me, we have to go through some sort of learning from this. Why do I disagree? Because I don't think money and debt traps and owning money and stuff like that is part of this in a more spiritual way, this reality, okay? True abundance is not a credit card. True abundance is not a mortgage. True abundance is not really a house or anything like that. True abundance is something very different. Why do we have debt traps? Why do we have debt? Why do we have credit cards, mortgages, and people suffering? Is because of this situation. And in a way, I can agree that no one is putting a gun to your head. You could say, I'm going to buy a house when I have the money. Then it's probably, for some and for a majority, it's probably you are never going to have the cash money to actually buy a home. And then even from a financial standpoint, it makes sense to get a mortgage sometimes, because you're buying the home years before you're able to save enough to buy a home. And the prices of these assets continually go up and up and up. So at the end, the loan and whatever interest you might pay on the mortgage, that's why the mortgages have so low interest rates compared to other kind of loans, because the asset that covers the loan, which is the house, and if you stop paying, the bank will take it back, is so valuable and goes up year after year after year. Of course, there are movements in the markets, especially in 2008 and that around the time of the video. She said no one is buying. That was around 2009 with the whole worldwide financial crisis with mortgages and all that. So I hope you enjoyed this very personal episode. I will keep you updated on my situation. Not really, not really every week or anything like that, but I will share with you maybe in another topic or on a chat or something like that, when my situation has to resolve some way, somehow. What I wanted to do is show for everyone that is in a financial trap, debt trap, sorry. I feel for you. I truly, from the bottom of my heart, feel for you. This is one of the hardest lessons I think we have in this reality, and the ones that haven't resolved think it's very easy not to fall for the traps of credit cards and loans. But believe me, when you are not making ends meet and you have dependents, and it just becomes so difficult that you go with these easy solutions. Maybe should I have done it? No, I will. If I had the opportunity to do it again, will I do it? No way. I will have spoken with my wife and my children, boys at the time, probably 5-10 years ago, and said, you know what, we're not going to be able to sustain this life. Maybe you're going to have to change schools. Maybe we're going to have to change house at that time. But no way I'm going to go through years of trying, just to try to be able to push a month and a month, like the son was saying. That happens. I totally understand that mindset that whenever you're involved in a debt trap, you are just trying to make ends meet month after month. You're living paycheck by paycheck. Okay. In my case, I have a business, so it's not really a formal paycheck. It's the earnings of the business. But there have been days that I have basically zero money on the account, and there's a payment in 2 days, and then I get some sales, and it's a horrible feeling, horrible feeling, and I really wanna be out of it. And always try not to put yourself in the situation that debt will become unmanageable, because that's the debt trap. Who knows, maybe one of their, I don't know. I don't see suffering in the cards. I think it's just an inevitable situation that this money is available to you, and they lend you this money, and then you get in trouble and it's your fault. Okay. So yes, it's my responsibility. I will try to get out of my debt trap. I really has been going on for approximately 6 years, 7 years, and I think it's enough. I really would like to remember what it is to be debt-free. Try to stay that way. Thank you very much for watching this very personal, sensitive episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if everything's okay, I should see you back on Monday. Thank you. Have a great Friday. Enjoy it. Have a great weekend. Thanks. You honor me with your presence here on the channel. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Thank you for making it to this part of the video. This is my favorite part. This is where I suggest to you that you discover yourself. You are not what you have been groomed to believe. You are this incredible being without limits that has eternal life, amazing strength, infinite wisdom, and a big, beautiful heart. All your limits are always self-imposed. Your best version in this reality is inside you. Your only mission on this life is to become a beacon of love and guidance. This version is ready to be discovered today. How do you discover yourself? The discovery process is a personal one. No one can do it for you. Dedicate 5 minutes a day to talk to yourself and the universe. Request to be connected and ask, who am I? Where do I come from? You will start getting signs, breadcrumbs, and signals. You will notice how your notions about those realities start disappearing. No more hierarchies, no more competition, no more complaining, no more depending on others. Discovering yourself equals to breaking your matrix. Your self-imposed limits will fall, and you will be ready to serve humanity and help break this spell and deception on us. But you must be patient to allow others to wake up at their time through their own free will. That will be really soon, you will see, and that will start a new war. As you work towards your best version, you will notice how all emotions don't serve you anymore. Hate, fear, rage, pride, loss, envy, violence, justice, true violence, judgment of others, and other emotions will disappear from your mind and heart. You will understand those emotions serve only the evildoers and are not you. Please try to be understanding of others that don't think or feel like you. Everyone has a process. No one is right or wrong. We're all just different. Don't be concerned about being right, ever. Don't allow pride preventing you from patching things up with family and friends. It is very important you enjoy this life with your loved ones. Put in the work to patch things up and leave it to others to decide. Please relax and enjoy life. When everyone breaks their own matrix, humanity through our community consciousness will break the final spell. The new world will start and everything will gradually fall. Governments, hierarchies, and the medical and financial system will go from scarcity to abundance for all. Thank you very much for watching. Please share this episode. If you have any comments or suggestions, please use the comment section below. For private questions, conversations, and if you would like to appear on the show, please email me at hey@humanitywins.net. Thank you again. Please don't forget to visit our website www.humanitywins.net. By giving me your time, you honor me. Have a very, very, very nice day.